He didn't mind, though. He'd laugh along with her, agreeing with every word she said. He loved her so much that he'd have probably agreed with her if she'd said that the sky was purple. Whenever I looked at them, I used to think that whoever I married, I wanted us to have the relationship like my mom and dad had. Loving, teasing, comfortable, and happy. I thought that perhaps Ron and I could have that kind of relationship if we ever got together. I thought that Ron could be the person who could provide that sort of love for me, that teasing, comfortable happiness that my mom and dad had. But now what do I have? Now I have Lucius coming to me every night in the dark, so that he doesn't have to face up to the fact that it's a mudblood he's fucking, and yes, I'm using that word for it. What else am I going to say? Making love? What am I doing? Is any of this really worth it? What the hell am I getting myself into this? What the hell am I getting myself... What the hell am I getting out of... What the hell am I getting out of this? Just what am I doing to myself? I don't know. It's just that when Lucius holds me and kisses me, it's like I can feel whole again. Because in that moment, he doesn't just see me as a human being. He must see me as a human being, as something worth giving up everything he's held dear for. In that moment, I'm not a mudblood to him. I am Hermione, and I am worth everything. Miss Granger. My head snaps up. Hope leaping up in my heart, only to die down again when I see who it actually is. Avery stands in the doorway, his expression, as always, closed, calm, and serene. You. I spit out the word, bubbling over like a pot on a stove. What do you want? He raises an eyebrow slightly, but apart from that expression, he remains unaltered. You're angry, he says with no expression in his voice at all. Why would you be angry, Miss Granger? I stare at him. If it were Lucius, I would know exactly how to answer him. I would rant and rail at him, trying hard to scrape away at the surface until I managed to glean a little bit of humanity out of him. But I don't really know how to handle Avery. Do you even have to ask? I hiss, gripping at the cloth in my hand, a nervous reflex. That serene expression doesn't leave his face, not for a bloody second. You are upset about what I did to Weasley and his sister, I presume? He asks, quite calmly. If it were Lucius I was talking to, he wouldn't have voiced that as a question. He knows me too well. Far too well. While Avery doesn't know me at all. I wish Lucius was here. I really don't know how to deal with Avery while I'm on my own. How could you do that to them? I asked furiously. How could you even contemplate? It's evil. Can't you understand that? A tiny smile curves his lips, but his mouth remains empty. Not like Lucius's cold. Not cold like Lucius's, but completely blank. You shouldn't blame me for what you saw, he says quietly. It was not my idea to take you to see what happened. That was all Lucius was doing. I try to school my expression into a calm one. I can't let him know what I'm thinking. I just can't. After all, he says quietly, I don't see why you should have to see what happened. It's not as if even the event concerns you in any way. But then, Lucius must have his reasons, I suppose. He knows. I think desperately, and for one moment, my breathing stops in pure terror, but his expression doesn't change. But where are my manners? You're probably wondering why I've come to see you, he says, but he doesn't wait for me to reply. Your friend Weasley, he's been rather, how should I put this, apathetic? He can't work himself up into a suitable state to even leave his room, let alone do his chores. My heart tears itself in two. Oh God, Ron, what have they done to you? I think that you might be the one person who could pull him out of it, he goes on. and unlike Lucius, I do not see any harm in asking a mudblood for help, if the occasion calls for it. He knows. Oh God, I need to breathe. I need to calm down. So, he says curtly, turning so that the doorway is clear. Will you come and visit him now, or do you prefer to wait until your chores are done? I gulp down hard, trying to swallow my fear. I need to focus. Ron needs me, and I can't let him down. Shakily, I step forward and walk quickly towards the door, and Avery curves into a tiny smile, turning and leaving the room, leading me out into the hallway. I follow him as he walks me through identical corridor after identical corridor, winding us through the house. He can't know, can he? He might suspect, but does he really know? Well, no, of course he doesn't. No one really knows for certain. Only Lucius and I have the knowledge of what's really going on. We turn, hold on. Antonio's offering to buy me jewelry. I can't help but want. I don't know. Hold on. We turn a corner and leads me up a winding staircase, up and up and up. But Voldemort suspects us for a while. He even questioned me about it after Lucius came after me, the burrow rather than Harry. But I thought I convinced him that nothing was going on. And there wasn't. At the time, I wasn't even really lying. I mean, Avery was only posted here to replace Dolohov, wasn't he? Even if he does suspect anything, it's not his business, surely. Perhaps he'll just leave things alone. No, this is just silly. He doesn't know anything. He can't do. Doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know anything. He can't. All he can possibly have is his suspicions, nothing more. I need to pull myself together. The pair of us eventually reach a small doorway, a lot like the one from my own bedroom, right at the top of the stairs. Avery opens his door and flicks at Avery opens the door with a flick of his wand, and the pair of us step into the room. I recognize it immediately. Ron's bedroom. He looks after me. The last time I was here, when my parents had died and I felt like the world had ended. Today it's my turn to look after him, and by God, it looks like he needs me to look after him now. He sits on the floor, his back pressed against the wall, and he doesn't look up as we come into the room. He hugs his knees closer to his chest, staring resolutely at the floor. You have a visitor, Weasley. Avery says curtly, almost as if he's giving an order of some kind. Ron still doesn't look up. Avery turns, fixing me with his blank stare. I'll leave you to it, Miss Granger, he says very quietly before he walks around me. I don't speak until I hear the door click shut behind me. Ron, I say quietly. He still looks blankly at the floor, his eyes hollowed and dead. I walk over to him slowly, crouching down next to him when I reach him. I need to be gentle. Ron, I say tentatively. Are you all right? He doesn't look up at me. Do I look it? He says, but he doesn't sound angry at all. No. I'm sorry, I say, very quietly. A long silence spread out while I try to think of what to say. But what could I say to him? How can I comfort him, after what Avery and Bellatrix did? Ron eventually speaks up before me. They tried to make me fuck my sister, he says, his voice low. Tentatively, I reach out for him. He flinches as I brush my hand onto his shoulder, but I still hold on. He has nothing to be ashamed of. He needs to know this. It's okay, I say quietly. Nothing happened. Jenny's alive. And they stopped it before it could go too far. He looks up at me then. His eyes like huge caverns. But what if they didn't? He whispers. What if they actually went with it? What if they continued to refuse to heal until it fucked my own little sister? I don't reply. I feel words forming in my lips. But I know that none will help him. How many times must he have contemplated this? Will he ever be able to look at Jenny again? I hate Bellatrix and Avery. They've taken a brother and sister and destroyed their relationship. All those moments Ron and Jenny have shared, playing Quidditch together, laughing together, mucking around as children, all those memories have been ruined forever. I take my hand from his shoulder and move it down, gripping at his hand with it. His fingers are cold and lifeless. I couldn't do it, Hermione, he says eventually, very quietly. I just couldn't. Even though it would have meant that she would have died. He pauses for a moment. How could I do it? I couldn't fuck my own sister. I just couldn't. And he takes a deep breath, his eyes starting to swim with tears. But how could I condemn my own little sister to death? His voice cracks and gotten to that emotional thing. His voice cracks and wavers all over the place as he speaks. I would have preferred her to die than have to do that. What kind of brother does that make me? How could I let my own sister die just because I wouldn't have the guts to save her? He trails off, his face contorting with tears, and without hesitation, I reach over for him, pulling him into the tightest of hugs. It takes all his weight as he sobs into my robes. I pull back and take his face in my hands, looking straight in his eye. Listen to me, I say firmly. None of this was your fault. These people are sick bastards. They're the ones who should feel guilty. You love Jenny. You never do anything to harm her. She would have died. She would have rather died than let you do what they wanted you to do to save her. I'm sure of it. He paused for a moment. I watched his tears dry a little as my words sink in. Eventually, he nodded shakily, his face firming up a little. I couldn't do it, Hermione, he says again, and I clutch at him even harder. I know, I say, feeling tears catch in my throat. I know. It's okay. Nobody could do that. His face collapses into tears again, and I hold him closer to me once more, cradling his head to my shoulder. You mustn't torture yourself, I whisper, rocking back and forth as he clings to me, his whole body racking with sobs. The shoulder on my robes goes wet with his tears, and it's like my heart is breaking with his. What has he done to deserve this? What has he ever done to deserve this? I swear then that if I ever get the chance, I will punish Bellatrix and Avery for what they have done to Ron. I will make them suffer so much that they don't even know what to do to help themselves. They will know firsthand, I swear it, just what kind of pain they have put my best friend through. Ron's sobs slow down, eventually. Finally, only coming in small bursts. I'm so sorry, Hermione, he says eventually, his voice hoarse. I pull back from him. What have you got to be sorry for? I ask. He takes a deep breath. For crying all over you, he says, with his flush spreading across his face. I know that what I'm going through is nothing compared to what you've been through.